2 years ago, a terrifying anomaly gripped our sun. Out of nowhere, it unleashed monster geomagnetic superstorms that caught the entire world totally unprepared. Mind-blowing auroras ignited skies as far south as Florida and the Bahamas, the most violent magnetic surge in 500 years, knocking out satellites overnight. But this was no random glitch. Our sun was plunging headfirst into its most violent, fiery phase, the solar maximum. Except this time, the solar storm was almost twice as powerful as top scientists predicted, leaving experts desperately scrambling for answers ever since. What top researchers just uncovered has shattered everything we thought we knew about our star, where its hyperactive magnetic engine hides, how completely wrong our measurements were, and what terrifying secrets lurk at its poles. So, what is truly happening deep inside this cosmic inferno? Today, we uncover why Solar Cycle 25 caught humanity completely off guard, how daring missions closer to the sun triggered game-changing breakthroughs, and why the next massive solar explosion could trigger total catastrophe right here on Earth. Every 11 years, our sun undergoes a dramatic transformation. It swings wildly between a terrifyingly quiet state called solar minimum and an insanely violent exploding frenzy known as solar maximum. Normally, tracking this cosmic beast is simple. Just count the sunspots blistering across its surface as magnetic chaos escalates. Extreme magnetic energy breeds swarms of sunspots, unleashing apocalyptic solar flares and colossal coronal mass ejections in short, devastating space weather. Yet lately, our sun has turned wildly unpredictable. Back in 2020, Solar Cycle 25 ignited, but it quickly spiraled into a far more aggressive, chaotic monster than anyone dared imagine. By August 2024, a staggering 216 sunspots erupted in a single month, nearly double what experts predicted, marking a terrifying 23-year high. The ultimate question remains, why is our sun behaving so violently? To forecast the ferocity of these solar cycles, scientists depend on a critical key known as the polar field precursor. The mechanics are wild. As decaying sunspots fade throughout a cycle, their leftover magnetic energy rushes toward the poles, charging up a massive concentrated magnetic shield. This polar field at solar minimum dictates the raw power of the next violent outburst. To spy on this force, experts use high-tech eyes like NASA's helioseismic and magnetic imager, the HMI aboard the Solar Dynamics Observatory, which has been tracking our star from orbit since 2010. Accurately reading these polar fields should unlock the sun's secrets. It's our ultimate defense line. Back in 2019, an elite panel from NASA and NOAA analyzed the data, confidently predicting Cycle 25 would be weak and pathetic, peaking at a lazy 115 sunspots. After 3 consecutive dying cycles, with Cycle 24 being the weakest in a century, nobody questioned it. But in 2025, a horrifying discovery smashed those predictions. Researchers at the National Solar Observatory built a virtual clone of the HMI sensor, only to uncover a shocking reality. The instrument had been blind to half of the sun's actual magnetic power at the poles. If this shocking truth holds up, it is no wonder scientists failed so dramatically to predict what was coming. Solar Cycle 25 struck with terrifying force, far beyond anything anyone expected, proving that a massive hidden secret was lurking beneath the surface. Ever since Galileo looked at the stars, humanity has been desperate to unlock the sun's deadly inner engine. For decades, experts claimed this magnetic nightmare was birthed over 200,000 kilometers deep, inside a mysterious zone called the tachocline, coiling magnetic energy like a ticking time bomb. But in 2024, top researchers from MIT, Northwestern, and Edinburgh dropped an explosive bombshell that shattered this long-held belief forever. Armed with a hyper-advanced NASA supercomputer, they unleashed the most detailed solar simulations in human history and uncovered a breathtaking plot twist. The sun's magnetic engine isn't buried deep underground. It actually erupts into life just 32,000 kilometers beneath the surface. Why does this change everything? Because a shallow magnetic engine is fueled by pure chaos, a violent phenomenon known as magnetorotational instability. When shifting layers of plasma collide at different speeds, magnetic forces don't calm the beast. They trigger insane turbulence, unleashing monster magnetic tempests. This wild mechanism finally explains why solar cycles suddenly explode with unpredictable fury, tearing apart all our old broken models. And humanity just put this wild theory to the ultimate test. In 2018, NASA launched the daring Parker Solar Probe into the heart of the beast. After a perilous 3-year journey, it plunged into the sun's blistering atmosphere just as solar activity reached a terrifying peak. What it witnessed inside that inferno is rewriting everything we thought we knew about our star. On Christmas Eve 2024, this legendary spacecraft pulled off the unthinkable, skimming just 6 million kilometers above the surface, screaming through the scorching corona at a mind-bending 700,000 kilometers per hour. It shattered all speed records to become the fastest man-made object in human history. Yet even this jaw-dropping milestone pales in comparison to what it found next. Across 27 orbits, the probe gathered data that may have finally solved a decades-old cosmic mystery. You see, the sun's surface sits at a roasting 5,500 degrees Celsius. But its outer atmosphere, the superheated corona, mysteriously erupts into an unbelievable inferno between 1 million and a mind-melting 10 million degrees. For decades, scientists were utterly baffled by this deadly puzzle. They suspected magnetic forces were involved, but the picture was fuzzy. They knew intense magnetic energy gathered along giant plasma structures called supergranules, building up immense force until they violently detonated into scorching energy jets and massive nanoflares. When these magnetic forces grow too powerful, they violently rip through the sun's surface, carving open giant sunspots and monster magnetic loops. While most loops stay anchored to the sun, some are brutally torn wide open, extending out to the very edge of the solar system as open magnetic fields. And back in 1988, visionary astrophysicist Eugene Parker proposed a radical, mind-blowing idea to explain this madness. Imagine giant plasma storms on the sun violently twisting magnetic fields, tangling them into a ticking cosmic time bomb. Pure magnetic energy builds in the atmosphere until field lines snap and explode, unleashing blistering heat across space. Scientists originally mocked this bold theory, dismissing it as complete nonsense. Until a spacecraft dared to touch the sun, uncovering shocking proof that proved the critics wrong. Yet even today, our star's magnetic force acts in bizarre, unexplainable ways. Shocking data from ESA's SOHO mission proved the solar magnetic field is far more chaotic than ever imagined, shattering established theories. Bizarre solar particles defied all logic, leaving experts completely baffled. Now, the legendary Parker Solar Probe has finally exposed the missing link. Extreme close-ups reveal the solar wind isn't just a smooth breeze, but a violent frenzy of concentrated plasma jet streams. Skimming dangerously close to the inferno, the probe detected something deeply uncanny. Massive magnetic field lines were bending violently into unnatural S-shaped structures. Called switchbacks, these trigger when giant magnetic loops collide, unleashing catastrophic cosmic reconnections. This chaos superheats the solar atmosphere and hurls lethal radiation into space, exactly as Eugene Parker predicted decades ago. We used to believe solar eruptions only blasted outward into deep space. But during a recent flyby, the Parker probe caught something unbelievable. A gargantuan cloud of plasma erupts from the star, makes a terrifying U-turn, and crashes straight back into the sun. NASA confirms this returning plasma dramatically reshapes the atmosphere, priming the star for even more apocalyptic eruptions. Earlier missions gave tiny hints, but we have never witnessed this process in such breathtaking detail. This crucial data will help scientists predict massive solar storms capable of crippling Earth's tech grid and endangering astronauts in space. The Parker probe has exposed the sun from the inside out, showing how magnetic energy builds, detonates, and resets the 11-year solar cycle. But its path stays locked along the equator. To truly master the secrets of cosmic weather, we must venture straight into the unknown, heading directly to the sun's untamed poles. For decades, almost every spacecraft we launched remained trapped inside the flat ecliptic disk, orbiting along the exact same plane as the planets. That meant, for the entire history of space exploration, humanity was completely blind to the sun's mysterious poles, staring at them edge-on, like desperately trying to read a clock face from the side. ESA's revolutionary solar orbiter was built to break that barrier forever. Using an aggressive series of gravitational slingshots around Venus, the probe gradually tilted its trajectory, climbing higher and higher into uncharted solar latitudes with every single pass. Then, on March 23, 2025, history was officially made. Sweeping 17 degrees below the solar equator, it locked its advanced instruments onto the sun's south pole, snapping the first ever direct images of this unexplored cosmic frontier. What it uncovered was a violent, chaotic nightmare, revealing three massive, mind-blowing secrets that scientists are only just beginning to comprehend. First, absolute magnetic madness. While standard magnets have neat, separate poles, Solar Orbiter revealed that during peak solar maximum, both north and south magnetic fields clash simultaneously at the South Pole, tangled together in a boiling inferno. To escape this catastrophic turmoil, the sun executes an astounding reset, flipping its entire global magnetic field. North becomes south, reversing back again every 11 years in a grand 22-year hail cycle. Once flipped, order slowly returns as a single polarity dominates during solar minimum, when the sun falls quiet. Yet, that shocking discovery was only the beginning of the horror. Solar Orbiter's onboard spice spectrometer mapped superheated plasma ripping through the sun's violent transition region, a thin, turbulent layer where temperatures instantly leaped from 10,000 degrees Celsius to hundreds of thousands. By tracking light from superheated oxygen, neon, carbon, and hydrogen, SPICE created a terrifying velocity map. For the very first time in human history, we actually traced the deadly solar wind straight to its original source, rather than desperately guessing from distant measurements. Finally, the third game-changing discovery completely rewrites what we know about solar cycle 25 and its terrifying strength. November 2025 data proved that sunspot magnetic fields are migrating toward the poles shockingly faster than anyone predicted. This completely shatters our forecasting models. The speed of this poleward drift determines the polar field strength at the next solar minimum, setting the deadly intensity of future cycles. If magnetic flux travels this fast, all our future solar storm warnings are dangerously wrong. In short, we severely underestimated solar cycle 25. Our primary dynamo models were deeply flawed, our instruments missed hidden magnetic fields, and solar flux is moving at extreme speeds. We got lucky this time. No world-ending solar flares or coronal mass ejections wiped out our power grids. But when the next catastrophic solar blast heads straight for Earth, will humanity even survive? What happens when a monstrous solar superstorm hits Earth, threatening total blackout and space chaos? Are we truly ready for the ultimate cosmic disaster? On May 10, 2024, a monster geomagnetic storm slammed straight into Earth. It all began when the sun exploded, blasting a staggering 1 billion tons of magnetized superheated plasma right at us. Moving at terrifying speeds, this massive solar blast rammed directly into our magnetosphere, unleashing a violent wave of cosmic energy that rattled our planet to its core. Blood-red auroras suddenly erupted across the night sky, blinding viewers as far south as the Florida Keys, Mexico, Jamaica, and even Hawaii. Just weeks later, Japan witnessed a terrifying crimson sky. Scientists discovered this eerie glow reached unimaginable heights in Earth's atmosphere, proving these hypercharged solar particles pack far more deadly energy than anyone ever feared. Behind this mesmerizing cosmic spectacle lurks a terrifying nightmare. Earth is shielded by the plasmasphere, a vital protective bubble that repels brutal solar attacks. But when this megastorm struck, the immense pressure of the solar wind crushed our cosmic shield, compressing it inward like a violently popping balloon, leaving our planet shockingly vulnerable. This historic May 2024 storm was the most powerful solar assault in over 2 decades. By sheer fortune, JAXA's Arrays satellite was stationed right in the crosshairs, recording the horrifying devastation in real time. Dr. Atsuki Shinbori and his team at Nagoya University captured unprecedented readings of our protective barrier catastrophically collapsing. In less than 9 hours, our atmospheric shield plummeted from 44,000 kilometers down to a terrifying 9,600 kilometers, shrunk to a fraction of its normal size. It was the lowest collapse ever witnessed, stripping away our defenses and leaving thousands of vital satellites utterly exposed to the raw, unbridled fury of space radiation. Weather satellites, TV networks, global communications, and GPS systems were instantly plunged into chaos. Critical navigation signals glitched out, causing dangerous tracking failures across global airspace. Commercial airplanes literally began jumping off tracking systems as atmospheric violence warped their flight paths in real time. Shocking U.S. Space Force data revealed that over 5,000 satellites were forced into emergency evasive maneuvers just to avoid plummeting to Earth or crashing into each other. A single orbital collision could trigger an unstoppable chain reaction of lethal space debris, destroying human space infrastructure forever. Yet, the most terrifying revelation came right after the storm cleared. Usually, Earth's plasmasphere bounces back in just 48 hours after a solar storm, but this catastrophic blast hit us so violently that recovery took over 4 agonizing days. What on earth triggered this terrifying breakdown? Barely an hour after the solar wind slammed into our planet, extreme polar heating unleashed a terrifying wave of charged particles straight into the atmosphere. This furious heat churned up the sky like a giant cosmic engine, dragging heavy gases like nitrogen and oxygen out of the depths into altitude zones where they absolutely do not belong. Normally, Earth's upper ionosphere is completely dominated by life-giving atomic oxygen ions. But when a massive surge of nitrogen and molecular oxygen invaded the upper sky, it obliterated those critical oxygen ions, plunging the ionosphere into chaos. This nightmare scenario is a negative ionospheric storm, and the consequences are devastating. You see, oxygen ions are essential to rebuild Earth's protective shield after a solar strike. When a charged oxygen ion violently rips an electron from a hydrogen atom, it forces that hydrogen up into the plasmasphere. That vital process creates the very plasma field that defends our planet. Without those oxygen ions, the planetary production line was instantly wiped out, choking the flow of protective plasma to a dead crawl. For the first time ever, scientists uncovered the dark, terrifying link between these ionospheric storms and the crippling delay in Earth's shield recovery. Yet the violent sun wasn't done brutalizing our planet. Just days after the May storm, a monster X-class solar flare erupted, the absolute most dangerous category in existence. Even though it shattered technology across the globe, it only scored an 8.7 on the cosmic scale. The most catastrophic flare ever recorded back in 2003 hit a staggering 45 times more destructive. And the deadliest solar storm in human history, the apocalyptic Carrington event of 1859, was so powerful it set telegraph wires on fire. If that exact same cataclysm struck today, financial experts warn it could inflict up to $2.6 trillion in total destruction across America. Up to 40 million people would be plunged into pitch-black darkness for anywhere from 16 days to 2 terrifying years. Our survival relies entirely on how fast we rebuild our shattered electrical grid, but the most alarming truth is how little time we have to prepare. The absolute deadliest variable of a coronal mass ejection is the hidden direction of its magnetic force. If its magnetic field points south, it will brutally smash directly through Earth's defense shields. The terrifying twist? We can't even detect that kill switch orientation until the deadly plasma hits the L1 Lagrange point, a critical monitoring zone 1.5 million kilometers away, leaving us with a mere 15 minutes to save civilization. And while our thick atmosphere shields us on Earth from instant annihilation, astronauts in space face a horrific, fatal death sentence. Imagine a terrifying solar storm striking while astronauts are trapped in deep space. The lethal radiation inside their spacecraft would instantly skyrocket. Over time, this invisible deadly exposure triggers severe cancer risks and destroys brain function, leaving astronauts incapacitated when they need focus most. This grave threat was a top priority for NASA's historic Artemis II mission, equipping every crew member with personal radiation detectors. Deep inside the Orion capsule, a high-tech electronic assessor deployed 6 specialized sensors, relentlessly tracking radiation rates across the cabin. The moment radiation spiked, Orion's central computer triggered flashing warnings and blaring emergency sirens. So how is humanity preparing for the ultimate solar catastrophe hurtling toward us in the future? On January 23, 2026, NOAA's SWFO-L1 probe reached the critical L1 Lagrange point. The state-of-the-art spacecraft uses cutting-edge sensors to track real-time solar winds, superheated plasma, and violent magnetic shifts. Even wilder, it carries a powerful compact coronagraph built explicitly to spot massive coronal mass ejections before they strike. It marks the first time NOAA dedicated an entire satellite solely to non-stop space weather defense. Alongside it, NASA deployed the groundbreaking Interstellar Mapping and Acceleration probe, known as IMAP, also guarding the L1 point. Its crucial mission: crack the code of how terrifying space storms unleash chaos, boosting our planetary defense with real-time solar wind intelligence. Yet Europe's Vigil mission is taking things to an extreme new level. Launching in 2031, it will park at the strategic L5 Lagrange point, far off the Earth-Sun line. From this epic vantage point, it will track violent solar hotspots before they even turn toward Earth, stretching critical warning times from mere minutes to precious days. Meanwhile, back on Earth, scientists are racing to prevent catastrophic blackouts and worldwide communication collapse from massive solar flares. Engineers are fortifying power grids with smart tech and high-voltage surge shields, stocking massive strategic transformer reserves, and wrapping critical electronics in impenetrable Faraday cages to deflect electromagnetic pulse attacks. Step by step, humanity is fortifying its shields. Solar Cycle 25 violently exposed how shockingly little we comprehend about our star, yet it delivered incredible breakthroughs. We captured historic images of the sun's poles, revolutionized solar dynamo theory, and unlocked mysterious magnetic switchbacks superheating the corona. Now, Solar Cycle 26 approaches, striking any time between 2029 and 2032. What terrifying forces it unleashes remains a mystery. One thing is absolute: humanity's deep space guardians and powerful orbital observatories will be waiting, ready to unlock the sun's ultimate secrets.